The digital world is doing so much more than just changing how we talk to each other or buy things. It's actually fundamentally reshaping the very idea of law. We're seeing this whole new legal framework pop up, one that's born from this information society we're all a part of. And this explainer, well, it's based on the incredible work of Professor Vihar Kiskinov, who's really the one mapping out this new reality for us. All right, so to really get a handle on this transformation, we've got a clear path laid out. We'll start by figuring out what we even mean by the information society. Then we'll dive into what makes cyberspace so unique. After that, we'll see how law is clashing with this new world, how it's trying to regulate it, and what happens when law literally becomes code. And to wrap it all up, we'll look ahead and think about the future of our legal systems. Okay, first things first, we have to start by defining the new social reality we're all living in, what we call the information society. Getting this foundation right is absolutely the key first step. So, the information society, it's a world built on creating and moving information around, all powered by technology. But here's the thing. It all operates in this new digital environment we call cyberspace. And this place, this non-physical realm, it has its own set of rules, its own properties that are totally different from the physical world. And understanding those properties is where we need to go next. Which brings us right to our next point. What are these core properties of cyberspace? What are the rules of this new world that make it so, well, so different from the physical one we're used to? Professor Kiskinov points to three big ones, three fundamental qualities that really define this space: systematicity, automaticity, and cognizability. Now, these might sound a bit academic, but trust me, they are absolutely crucial for understanding everything that follows. So let's break them down one by one. Okay, first up, systematicity. In the digital world, nothing is random. I mean, nothing. Every single action follows a pre-planned, super-organized procedure. It's the complete opposite of the physical world, right? Which is this messy, complex, unpredictable reality. But the digital world, it's built from the ground up on a foundation of pure, unadulterated order. Second, we have automatism. And this is a huge shift. Think about it, for all of human history, our tools needed a person to make them work. But not anymore. Today's technologies can act all by themselves. We write a program, give it some rules, and boom, it can follow those rules over and over and over again without us lifting a finger. It's like an engine that once you turn it on, just keeps running. And third, there's cognizability. Because everything is systematic and everything gets recorded, this virtual space is incredibly knowable. We can understand and control it to a degree that's just impossible in the real world. And this leads to this wild inversion. We often know everything about a digital event before it even happens. Why? Because we're the ones who designed the system in the first place. We already know how it's going to work. So let's put it all together. We have this new world built on order, automation, and knowability. Now let's see what happens when the old world of law crashes into it. It turns out this creates a really unique and pretty unexpected match. And here's what's so fascinating. The basic nature of cyberspace, systematic, predictable, ordered, seems to be a perfect match for what law has always been trying to achieve. I mean, for centuries, law has been all about creating order, predictability, fairness. It's almost as if this new digital world is the environment that law has been waiting for all along. But, and this is a big but, this perfect match comes with a serious warning. Professor Kiskinov makes it really clear, if law doesn't adapt, if it fails to really grasp this new reality, it could become totally irrelevant. The stakes here are incredibly high, and that's exactly why this stuff is so important to understand. So the big question is, how is law starting to adapt? Well, the first and most obvious change is in what it regulates. It has to, right? It's just trying to keep up with our digital lives. And Professor Kiskinov breaks this down into three main ways. First, law is just adding to existing rules, taking the old laws for commerce and just stretching them to cover e-commerce. Second, it's having to invent entirely new rules for things that literally never existed before, like domain names. And third, it's forcing us to rethink really big concepts, like what does democracy even mean when it's e-democracy? Okay, now we get to the most transformative idea in all of this. This is where things get really interesting. Because the change isn't just about what the law regulates anymore. It's about how the very mechanics of legal relationships are being completely rebuilt from the ground up. And this brings us to Professor Kiskinov's central idea, what he calls virtual legal relationships. See, traditionally, a legal relationship, like a contract, was basically an idea. It was a model of rights and duties that existed in our heads. But now, it's becoming a pre-programmed model that's baked right into the technology itself. And when you put the two side by side, the difference is just stark. The old way, it was all in our heads, which meant it was open to mistakes, to ambiguity. The new way, the relationship is a kind of technological matrix. Errors about who's involved or what it's about, they're literally designed out of the system. Your behavior isn't just guided by the rules anymore, it's governed by the code. And this quote from the professor just nails it. Think about it. When you agree to the terms of service online, you're not sitting down and negotiating a new contract. You're just expressing your will by, as he says, filling in the blank spaces in the ready-made scheme. The whole legal framework is already built and you're just clicking yes. And this structure, it changes every part of the deal. This system automatically checks who you are. Your rights and your duties, they're automatically enforced. You pay, you get access. Simple. The thing you're dealing with can be totally virtual, like access to software. And here's the kicker. There's no distinction between what you do and what you're legally allowed to do. You literally cannot act outside the model. You can't break the contract because the code simply won't let you. All right, let's bring this all home. Let's pull all these ideas together and really think about the massive implications this has for the future of law. If there's one core idea to take away from all this, it's this. Law is moving from being a set of external rules that we try to follow to being an integrated, automated, almost invisible system that actually structures what we can and can't do. It's becoming part of the environment itself. And this leads to a huge trade-off, doesn't it? On one hand, the advantage is incredible. You get this unprecedented level of certainty and efficiency. No more contract disputes, maybe. But the price we pay, well, it could be a limit on our own free will, on our freedom to make our own agreements. Essentially, we're trading some of our freedom for perfect automated enforcement. And that leaves us with one last and maybe most important question to think about. When law becomes automated code, when our legal relationships are pre-programmed, what happens to the human part? What's the role for things like judgment or mercy, or even just simple interpretation when a machine is enforcing the rules perfectly every single time?